Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Page of Swords podcast. This is episode 45, and I'm bringing on a returning guest, the beautiful Alexis Castro, who is a new IFBB pro in female bodybuilding. Welcome back.
Hey, thank you so much. I appreciate you having me back on.
Oh, absolutely. And it made me really excited because someone actually reached out to me and said, please have her back and talk about her new card winning. And I'm like, of course. You know,
Oh, yeah.
That's the best thing about this podcast I find now is that now that I'm like 2 years in, I'm starting to see how when I bring on amateurs and then later on they get their card and I'm like, this is cool. Like I knew this person would get it.
Like seeing the journey, the whole progression of it. That's so exciting.
Yeah, and like just to recap almost, me and you had met at the Lehigh Valley in 2019 where you had won the overall for bodybuilding there. And
yeah, way back when. It seems like so long ago, but it's only a few years.
I know. And I just remember I was just so excited for winning my class. That was the first time when I saw you waiting in line with your trophy because we were going to go back on. I was just, you look so quiet. And I'm just like, hey.
I'm so like calm and chill most of the time. I'm like,
And back then you were coaching yourself for those earlier shows, right?
Yeah, honestly, for every show until now, until this win at Nationals.
Mm-hmm. And how was that experience? Because I know you are a coach yourself, and it was it hard to kind of like let the reins off and hand it to somebody else?
That's definitely something that was really weighing on my mind.
Yeah.
But I knew it was a step that I wanted to take. I wanted to have a coach. I really did. But I guess it took a lot for me to feel like I was becoming coachable. I felt that up until that point, because I was so set on what I was doing, and I was really strong-minded in the fact that I insisted I didn't care how many times I lost or how many times I messed up or how much longer I was making this process take for myself. I really did not care. For me, it was all about the experience and learning from it. So for me to like break that, I really felt like I needed like this kind of moment to kind of say like, okay, that now is the time. And that really happened at North Americans this year. So I did 2 shows before Nationals this year, a qualifier, and then like I think it was like 2 weeks or something like that later, North Americans was.
Yeah.
So then I did North Americans and I placed 5th at North Americans this year. Mm-hmm. And I kind of reflected about that show and my experience and everything leading up to then. And I kind of had that moment where I said, okay, I learned so much coaching myself doing this. It's been invaluable to me as a coach and firsthand understanding that experience itself. But really, I sat back and I said, wow, I could see I was so close. And I know myself. I know I needed another pair of eyes that I trusted to look at me and say, you got to go further. You're not lean enough. You need to diet harder. And because I never got to that stage, lean conditioning, before, I didn't know what it felt like. And I didn't know what getting there felt like. Mm-hmm. So I kind of had that realization right after North Americans this year where I said, because I know myself, I know that if I haven't experienced that yet, it's going to be very difficult, and I'm going to keep spinning my wheels for a while trying to do that on my own if I keep staying, on the path that I've been on. Mm-hmm. So it was that moment where I actually that day, right after North Americans, I decided I was going to contact my now coach, Cornelius Parkin, who is amazing. And I'd actually been following him for a long time. Mm-hmm. And I really grew a tremendous amount of respect for him because he's just so freely gives so much information and extremely detailed information all the time on his stories, all the time on his Instagram. He responds to people's messages and questions. And I grew a really strong trust and respect from that. And it was a no-brainer. He was immediately the first person who I was like, if I were to be coached by anyone, I would want it to be him or someone like him. Mm-hmm. So I formulated my whole letter to him. I don't know. I can't remember if I sent it that day or the next day, but it was literally like that exact weekend. I was writing it right after the show. I remember still like having my tan on and sitting there on my phone, like writing out this entire message. I just did North Americans and I've been coaching myself, like this whole thing. And talking about wanting to do nationals because I felt like I was so close. I said I knew I could get it. I just had to be pushed a little bit further.
Mm-hmm. I love that story because first of all, like I love that you've always coached yourself because that's really rare, to be honest, because I feel like most people automatically go for help where you wanted to learn yourself, and I commend that because that's definitely like an old school thing too, where I felt like a lot of older bodybuilders would do that. And then on top of that, you kind of went over that you kind of had somebody in your mind that you'd already like done some research on, who, like you said, gives out good information and probably meshed with your personality. So not only did the information seem solid, but it seemed like you also were looking for that personality vibe, like who can I talk to? You said he was very easy to talk to on DMs and everything. And when you're looking for a coach, like these are all the things that you have to look at. Don't just jump in with a coach. Like you obviously had somebody in the back burner, and all it took was that show to be like, to light you up. And I'm sure like emotions were still really strong after like stepping off stage where you're like, I'm just going to take this momentum. I'm going to go write this email and kind of express myself while it's fresh on my mind. Because like I was going to ask you if you got feedback from North Americans, then you had already been writing your email before you got it.
Right. I was already ready to. I've started prep that Monday for nationals. I went right fucking into it.
Well, you didn't really have a lot of time, honestly.
Oh, it was actually like a perfect timeline to go from North Americans into nationals, and it worked really, really well for me.
That's great, and I'm glad that he took you on. Like, I'm glad he wasn't like, oh, that's not enough time for me. It sounds like he was like, no, I'm smart. Thanks for all your information. And it's like you're kind of already like in that go mode. So he probably just had to review what you sent or what you're currently doing. And maybe that was even better because it's not like you just hopped from one coach to him. It's kind of like your formula, and then he could be like, all right, we're cutting this. Let me go in here and make my own tweaks.
And I felt that it was really important that I wrote that letter to him and explained my case to him, because I know as a coach as well, for any coach to just have a client come up to you and say, I just did a show and I want to jump into this prep right now. That's a really hard sell for any coach. So I knew I had to explain myself and give a little background to it. And yeah, he understood, and it all worked out.
That's great. Well, you said you started that prep that following Monday. So I'm assuming he was pretty quick. I mean, I guess he just kind of like, so now I'm curious, did he cut any calories, or did he reverse you?
Week, and again, I'm trying to remember things. Sometimes things get a little bit blurred. But I believe that first week he actually had me continue with what I was doing on my own.
Okay.
So same macros, same training, everything, exact cardio, everything exactly as I was doing it up until that point. Mm-hmm. So I just kind of hopped on to what my plan was in those last final weeks. And then I checked in with him after a full week of that. And then he made some changes. And yes, we did cut down a bit on food. I think one of the things he said was, well, the good news is that you're dieting on too much food. It's like, okay. It's like, we can work with that.
Yeah. No, really, like that's the thing, because he didn't have to it wasn't like you were already starved. There was no food to take away. And he's like, well, I need to get you what do yeah.
So it's like, that's good news.
Yeah. So that's where it either can go both ways, I've seen, because I know after my first regional show the past year, it was like we actually did a refeed month and then it was kind of like let's spike it up and then go back down. But since you didn't have that long of a timeline, I don't think, I was probably just cut calories. Now, what about your cardio, if you don't mind me asking? Was that increased or anything crazy?
Actually, no. He pretty much let me kind of do my edit my cardio as I saw fit, but then eventually we did kind of go to step goals, maintaining, just overall making sure that you hit this amount of activity per day. So for example, I think it was like I was aiming for 12 to 15,000 steps per day. And if I did cardio, like dedicated cardio to help get that activity, then that was just really just contributing to the overall daily activity.
Okay, so it's like steady state, and you're just kind of calculating whatever you got throughout the day. Like
Yeah, I was
all
just
day
kind of
could
checking my steps throughout the day. And then if I needed more steps, I'd go hop on the treadmill, get a like nice fast walk in and rack up the steps, keep the activity up.
Oh, that's like a new thing I'm hearing more often now, are the step goals. I don't know if it's just because
Yeah.
like having a watch and stuff is making that a little easier and more well known. But I am liking this whole steady state. It doesn't seem like everybody needs like hardcore grinding cardio like it's always been in the past. At least if you set yourself up for it. I think you
Yeah.
can't just like willy-nilly just start doing it. But I do like that it just seems like you don't have to like kill yourself with cardio anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely did have a few weeks because, again, he really is like let me have a lot of autonomy, especially with the cardio. So he was always guiding the macros, but I did play around with my cardio a bit, and there was one point where I was definitely going quite hard with the cardio for a few weeks, and then when I felt that I couldn't sustain that anymore, we kind of switched over to that step goal mainly.
Okay, so it was almost like you used what you had in the tank, and then when you got too empty, it was like, okay, we can get by with just the steady state.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I feel like prep cardio it's very like you don't want to use all your ammo at once is what I
Yeah,
tell people. So I'm
definitely,
always like,
definitely.
you don't want to go balls to the wall, but if you do at first, then I would hope that by the end, like you shouldn't have to do too much, because then you don't want to get too
Yeah.
stringy and lose too much muscle. But it just depends. Or like I know for me, we just gradually went up as prep went, and then the last like 2 weeks, it was like a ton of cardio, but it was like 2 weeks. So it was like,
Yeah.
girl, you can handle 2 weeks of hardcore cardio.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Pretty good.
You could do anything for 2 weeks.
Oh yeah, even like the low calorie, like that's the thing. Like at the very end, when you're going for that pro card at nationals, it's like, oh, 2 weeks with no carbs. You know what? I was pretty fortunate. I think you might have had that same mindset where you're like, listen, I'm being told that I was overfed for most of my prep.
Yeah, no,
I think I'll be okay.
no, seriously. I had that exact mindset. Like
Mhm.
when I was like just pretty much grinding on like mainly protein greens for I think last few weeks or so, maybe like 2, 3 weeks. I mean, I was just thinking to myself, I was like, I thought I was dieting before. Now I can handle this. Like
Yeah.
this is what I gotta do. This is what I gotta do.
Yeah, so then it's not a cakewalk. It never is.
Right.
But I think mentally, like you said, I think we got into that mindset that we're like, no, we've been pretty lucky. Okay.
Yeah.
I think like for a national level show, I can temporarily
Yeah.
handle this hard dieting. Cause I know like for you, I felt the same thing when it was like, I don't know what that level feels like. Like we had to
Yes.
get leaner, we had to get that condition. And it was kind of like, no, that we haven't been able to get there because it's really hard. So like
It is.
feel.
And sometimes I really truly believe it takes someone, like we all have a different limit within our head of how hard we can push ourselves without knowing that limit. And you get to a point where someone truly has to say, yes, you can go further, you can. And then it becomes a real possibility in your mind and you do it.
Yeah, I love that because I can relate so hard to this because I just remember, those last couple weeks too, where when it was hard, and I would just tell myself too, like, you're an athlete, like this is what the pros do, and you have to go that extra step even when it sucks because
Yeah.
it's about you going into a show, and it's like quit messing around. And then for you, like I'm sure having a coach, you had more accountability behind you this time too, which probably felt
Yeah, that was a totally new experience because up until then I was so used to doing all of this without having to report to anybody, without, anyone kind of without that knowledge that, oh wow, I have to check in. And well, in the last few weeks, the check-ins become so frequent. So I was like, wow, he's gonna see, my progress is gonna be seen by someone every third day or every fourth day.
Mhm.
I Wow, like that level of accountability, I was like, this is amazing. This
Yeah,
is great.
yeah, that's great.
It was definitely just a whole new experience, and I definitely would have not have changed anything about what I've done up until this point. I feel that it was all necessary learning experiences, and it set me up to be ready for this, because I believe, like, with my my individual mindset about competing and learning from it and competing as a coach, it definitely took getting to that point. I felt for me, it was just like my own requirement for myself to really hit that point where it was like, okay, we hit that little wall and now we're ready to break through it.
Yeah. And I think that's cool too for your story, because I often hear where people have like a bad experience with a coach, and like it was a whole learning experience. But for you, like, you were your own coach. So like you said, you don't regret any of that because it was all a learning lesson. But I feel like your way is smarter, because then you know what your body likes, and you can just tell that coach that you're going to work with, like, hey, I just know my body likes this, but it doesn't like that, just so you know, because I've already like tried it out for 3 years or whatever.
Yeah, it definitely gives you a very unique understanding of yourself, and you get to experiment with different things. I mean, sometimes you get to experiment too much, and then that can be an issue in itself, because sometimes you may, well, and I think I see this with a lot of people in the whole bodybuilding world, is that, this starts to work well, so why don't we try this? And then why don't we try that too? And then it becomes like a whole spiral, and you don't really know what you got the results from. So I feel that that can be an issue too.
Mhm.
So was I serially jumping around to different things? Not really, but I still came in with a very open mind. And I believe I wrote down my letter, or I told him at some point, I said, listen, I know quite a bit, but as much as I know, that makes me realize how much I don't know.
Yeah.
So I am so open to anything. I am open to any changes to my diet, training, anything. Just know that, and I will not take any offense to that. And I think he even made a comment too, because well, I'd say like my specialty with my business and my coaching is exercise programming, and I have my certified strength and conditioning specialist certification, and definitely would say I'm quite well versed in exercise programming. But even with that, because you tend to you get in habits, and you do things a certain way, it worked well that way, and you don't change things for a while, you get set in your ways a little bit. I even came to him, and he said to me, it's like, oh, well, I mean, you seem you are very educated in programming. I'm not going to touch the training. It's hands off. And then now I was like, you know what? I really am completely open to messing around with it. I'm totally open. Let's play around with it and see what we can learn.
Absolutely. And I know that because I love, like, I'm not like you with a certification, but I love trying new workout splits and
Yeah.
educating myself and everything. But my coach actually just last night sent me, she says, I'm going to send you a new workout split. Check it out. Maybe we should do this. And it's so different. And I'm just like, I should just do it. I should just let it go,
Yeah,
because
I love
she's looking
that.
at me in a different perspective. And I'm sure your coach is looking at you in a different perspective, where you're not going to see yourself that same way. And that's what you're paying the coach or asking for
Exactly.
this advice. So it's like, hey, I should give it a shot, because hey, he did the diet right and it worked out. So let's see what the workout can be too.
Exactly. And for me, anything I learn, that's just a further benefit to myself and to me as a coach and anyone that I work with from here on out. So, I mean, I think you you mess yourself up the moment you think you know everything about something. Like the moment you think you know, that's when you truly don't know. That's when you start to become uneducated in something, because things are constantly evolving and changing.
Yeah.
So I am definitely always an open book. Always, my favorite quote, I said a little bit earlier, but like the more you know, the more you realize how much you don't know.
Mhm.
So I am always trying to learn and soak things up.
Yeah, this sport has so much to offer. And
It
you know
does.
what, with your coach, um, so that's awesome that you guys went in the nationals and won it, because that's like, for a new coach, that's like really hard to do, is nail it on the first time. So did
Yeah.
he change anything, like for at like show day, like, was there any carb up, or like was it just like keep eating your fish and veggies, or what?
Well, it was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
I actually, we both knew that it would be a very high likelihood that I would win if was able to make the light heavyweight division.
Mhm.
So we made it a goal that we wanted to get me down to 140 and compete in that division. On the morning of weigh-ins, I was 145. And so we ended up having to do a bit of a water cut. I, of course, kept my diet with that intention in mind, and dropped the water, got into the weight class. Normally I was fluctuating around 140, 142, 145, but that morning, it's just, you wake up, you're holding that extra water. It was like, okay, shit, we got to get rid of it. And after that, I kind of had to recover from that a little bit. So we had to be a little bit careful with the carb up. But I mean, it definitely, everything made sense. It wasn't anything extreme, no diuretics, nothing like that. And just, carbing up throughout the day. Yeah.
How much of that water do you feel like came off because you kind of like relaxed and de-stressed a bit? Because we know how like nerve-wracking a show can be, especially nationals. Did you get there early? Like, I don't know what the timeline was, because did this happen on Thursday? I'm trying to remember the date too. Is this a Saturday show or Sunday?
It's a Friday and Saturday for women.
Friday and Saturday. Okay. Did you get down to Orlando early?
Yeah, I got there Tuesday.
Okay.
So I was there Wednesday. I got there Tuesday evening, and I was there all day Wednesday, and then Thursday was the check-in. And the check-in window was huge. I believe it was like pretty much all day. And then finals on Friday morning.
So that's great. So you got there early. Did that help kind of relax you? And,
Yeah, I definitely didn't want to be like coming in last minute if I had the choice to. So I was lucky enough to be able to work things out to get there on Tuesday and just kind of like, take it easy those first few days before the show. So that worked out really well.
Did mom go with you?
Oh, yes, she insisted. I was like, it's going to be a tough trip. I don't know if you're going to be up.
Mama had to go. That's awesome.
I'm so grateful that she wanted to come, because like I told her, it's a fun thing, but it's also tough too. It's like, not, that those last few days, you're not feeling the best. You're not the most at least I'm not the most talkative. So so it's like, I just, just stating the reality of what this is going to be. If you still want to come, I definitely appreciate that. And she absolutely wanted to come and support me, and we drove down. So we drove that, what's that, a 14-hour something like that. That's a long drive to Pennsylvania, right up here. But she was the best support I could have ever asked for, and she made that whole week so much easier and so much more pleasant to have somebody there just helping you out and having your back every day, all day.
I love that, because I've met your mom, so I know that she's definitely a supporter. Right? She's probably so happy she went, because you.
Oh, she said she was bouncing up and down. She said she was like. She said she was bouncing up and down like a bean and all. It was so cute, right? I know.
And you know what? That's just like something I want to point out too. This was your first show with a coach, so there was stress taken off of that. You got there early, which definitely helps with any stress. And then your mom was there helping you. So again, I mean, I think
a lot of good circumstances.
Yeah, doing these shows, if there is anything you can do to be prepared, to make things like less stressful, it's going to help your look.
Yeah, definitely.
So I think that probably helped a lot of your water weight come off too. And I think you did the same posing routine that I saw at the that one show up in Butler.
Yep, the one to the song is actually called "You See Big Girl," an Attack on Titan soundtrack. Yeah, I felt that I never really got to do that routine justice, and I felt like this time I finally like had the look that I wanted, like, and nailed it with that look. And now I feel I can finally say, yes, I can finally put that routine on the shelf and say, yes, I did that routine the way I want. I presented it the way I wanted to finally.
Yeah, no, I like that, because that's like the one thing about doing figure. I'm like, man, those routines that you guys do and bodybuilding and physique,
Fun.
like they look so much fun. Like,
They
and I'm the
are.
same as you. I'm like, when I listen to songs, I'm like, I would definitely go with an anime theme song. I'm sorry.
I love
Like, I will be that
that.
person.
Yes. No, I heard that song. I remember watching Attack on Titan, watching that episode where we're like in that transformation scene. And I was like, man, I was like, listening to that song. I was obsessed with that song for so long. Like, this would be the most epic thing ever for a posing routine. It's just like, it has like this power, but
Yeah.
also this femininity and beauty to it.
Mhm.
And it's just such a unique, beautiful song. I'm and Sheila Bleck choreographed that routine for me.
Okay.
And oh my God, she just nailed it. And taught the way not only did she make the routine beautifully, but got me to do the routine. I was like, very grateful for her.
That's great. Yeah, I'm glad you had help with that too, because I know it's like, obviously you have to look the part, but when you're up on stage, you want your routine. I mean, honestly, that has to be so, like, I've never done it, but I would assume you got to be a little bit nervous because you're so lean and you're trying to stay tight and do all your flexes. And I'm sure you're getting pictures and videos too. So it's like,
I think probably the only time I feel any nerves is like that moment when you're standing off to the side backstage and you know you're lined up, everyone's doing their routines, and you
mhm.
know your routine is coming up next. I think that's the only moment where I have any nerves. But then once I get up on there and I'm in position, it's just like it all goes away, and you just do your thing. Because one thing I told myself is initially when I first before I did my first show, I was really worried about the routine. I love that it had that, but I was like, oh my God, that's kind of a little bit of a scary thing to do, you know?
Yeah.
But once I did that, I realized, wow, all I have to do is practice this so many times that doing it wrong feels wrong,
Yeah.
that doing it right feels natural, and I'm good. So I just practiced it so like hundreds of times to
Mhm.
the point that if I were to make a mistake, I would have to make effort to make a mistake.
Yeah. And that's what I tell most people with posing. It's like this will eventually become so natural. And even those transitions and flows into the next
Yeah.
pose, it's just you just know better. Like if you just like go right into the pose without a nice transition, I'll be like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
Like
it's like
slow
that feels
down.
wrong. That's wrong. That felt wrong.
Yeah, right. And then you have to think about how people are watching and you want to entertain them too. So like, yes, it's for you, but like at the same time, like there's nothing that feels better than knowing like I'm going to put on such a good show and I want like someone to be like, wow, that was beautiful. Just like
I
that,
love that. Yes.
like a fake comment in your head. Like you got to compliment yourself.
No, that honestly, what you said, that's something I've thought about myself very, very deeply, actually, that people are there watching, put on a show, you've worked so hard, you've created this physique. It's art, and now
It
you need
is.
to present it and show them that. So I feel like that's one of the most exciting things about a bodybuilding show is really getting to present that art to people in a way and make them walk away with something. And that I love that. That's probably one of my favorite things about bodybuilding.
Yeah, especially with the female division back. Like you guys are bringing it back in full force, and I like love watching it kind of expand and ever. I
It's
mean, it's just
awesome.
getting
It's
bigger.
so exciting.
I love it. Like I'm such a fan. Like obviously I'm still way too small for even figure, but I'm like, man, the female bodybuilding girls, they got this nice little group and things are just like there's so many opportunities for you girls coming out and it's really
Ah,
exciting.
it's wow. It's a wonderful thing. It really is. And I feel extremely fortunate to be a part of that. So it's
How was
very
it
exciting.
backstage? Did you feel like I don't know, was there good energy with the other girls?
Yes. No, the
Yeah.
other girls were so nice. Oh my God. We were all back there like immediately, like I felt like I had friends right around me. Like there was none of that like nastiness, nothing, nobody was being rude or anything. It's just everyone was like, just we're here, we're doing the same thing, like sisters back here pretty much. I mean, your competition, but at the same time, things are always I like the thing about bodybuilding. Like, I always remember there's that subjective part of it, and everyone's art in their own way. And something about there may be a first place and a last place, but to me, that I totally separate that in my mind because her art is different from my art from, and that's different from her art there. So the fans and the audience, they want to appreciate, you don't go to a gallery and look at one single thing. You go and appreciate all the different creations.
Mhm.
So I just love that. And that's why I feel like I love seeing camaraderie and bodybuilding, because we're all doing the same thing. And at the end of the day, it's all, to me at least, I just view bodybuilding about being about art and creating something beautiful. And whatever the placing is, it is, you be your absolute best. So there's no reason why we shouldn't all just be friends.
Yeah. And it's like, there's no show without other people too. So like, don't
Exactly.
get mad. Like, don't get mad that somebody's there. Be happy they're there, because without them, like, what's the fun in going
Exactly.
up by yourself, you know?
Oh, no, that's the worst. This is the worst. Because I've done it.
Yeah, right. And it's just, I'm sure it felt good being on that national level stage. And
Yeah.
so was there more girls at nationals than North Americans for you, like competitors? Were there?
Oh,
Do you know if there were
I'm
more
trying
girls?
to think back. I want to say, and don't quote me, but I feel like there were a lot more female bodybuilders at this show.
I mean, it's the end of the year, so
And also, every weight division gets a pro card. So that's going to bring out a lot more people too.
mhm.
And yeah, I feel like the turnout was quite big for female bodybuilding, which was awesome.
Yeah, I think it was awesome. And I know that Chelsea, the girl that got the
Yeah.
overall, she was definitely a popular pick. I've been
Oh
following
yeah.
her for a while too, and she made some crazy changes to get that
Oh, she
lean.
did. I saw her transformation. Like, that is inspiring as hell. Holy crap. Like, I went up to her after too, and I was like, dude, you are inspiring as hell. Because I mean, I didn't mention the whole transformation, but I just told her that she was inspiring, because I remember that transformation, and that's inspiring to anyone. And that just shows like you can do anything. Like, you can create whatever physique you want.
Absolutely, especially with conditioning. Like I feel like I've seen where I've, gotten bulkier, okay? I mean, Chelsea, it seemed like she was on the bulkier side for a long time. I mean, in female bodybuilding, a lot of girls have to put
Oh,
on
me
some
too.
weight.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
myself.
Like you
Yup.
gotta be pretty heavy.
Oh, yup.
Right. And it's just like, you will get that lean. Like, yeah, you might look at yourself and you're just like, how can I go to that? But when it happens and you look back, and it's just a crazy transformation, like you said.
It is. I mean, I love it. I
Now,
love seeing that.
you were red. Did you do
Yeah.
red was this a new color? Red?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So that was nice. You switched up the color of the suit. Um, I love it with your black hair too. It just like,
Oh, thank you.
yeah, they definitely were complimenting you on the live stream, talking about how, you definitely had a lot of beauty to you and your shape with the lineup.
Oh,
So yeah, perfect. Do you feel like you were one of the youngest ones there?
I don't know.
Because I
I
do know
know
you're on the younger side, right? How old are you?
I'm 27.
Okay, yeah.
Just turned 27. So yeah, to be honest, I really don't know. It's really hard to like gauge people's ages.
Yeah.
I know I was up there with Hannah too. Hannah's got to be
Yeah.
around my age at least, or younger.
That's great, because like in female bodybuilding, like any division, like you get better with age, in my opinion.
Yes.
The
Oh, yes.
female bodybuilder girls have been doing this for quite some time. I mean, have
Yeah.
you
I
met
think that.
Andrea Shaw yet?
Oh no, I've not met her yet.
Oh, I would love to meet her
A
too.
total queen. I would love to meet her. She's inspiring as hell.
Beautiful. And she was, I think, figure at one point, and then probably physique, and then went into female bodybuilding. And like,
Uh,
to me, like, that right there just says you've been doing this for a while.
yeah. And I think it that whole principle that like the more time in this, the more you grow as a bodybuilder, I think that's holds most true, especially in female bodybuilding. Just because to put that kind of size on, it just takes time.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. What's your favorite pose, by the way?
Ooh, that's a tough one. But I
Figure.
I'm just gonna throw out three, because side chest is my favorite to do right now. I
Okay.
love to hit side chest, side tricep, and then most muscular, of course, even though I didn't hit one in my routine, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm just looking at the NPC here. Let me see.
I think at this show, my favorite on me was the side try.
Side try. So here's I think I have it up. it on the right screen? Oh yeah, it's on your picture, right?
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Oh, there I am.
Nice. Yes, you got the nice leg detail there, and then yeah, girl. Did you get feedback yet for this show?
No, I did not. That's actually something I need to do.
I'm like going to be so curious to see, what the judges will tell you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I feel like, I mean, obviously they're probably going to tell you more size.
Yeah. That's exactly what I've spoken about with my coach. And
Mhm. And I think that's the fun part though, because now you get
yes.
to, because I just told you
Oh
before
yeah.
we started, it's like, I'm loving the off season right now. I am just all about training, getting
Oh,
strong.
no, that's what, honestly, this is my favorite time. I mean, we love all aspects of bodybuilding, but I mean, who doesn't love to like set your life up to be about everything is about preparing for that next training session,
Mhm.
because you need to be recovered for that training session. You need to hit that training session as hard as possible. And then you need to recover from that training session to be ready for the next one. So it's like, and fueling those training sessions properly. So it's like everything becomes now about the training. And that's what made me fall in love with bodybuilding in the first place, was just training.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. I am so pumped. I am ready. The goal from here really is to put on a lot of size.
Grow. Just grow. I feel the same way. I'm
Oh,
like,
everything.
grow.
Grow. Just grow.
Yeah. And I
Yep.
definitely need to work on my legs. So I'm just like really
Yeah,
having a lot of fun experimenting because I never really did a lot of squats. I'll be honest. I
really.
just never really did squats of any kind. I mean, I've done like hack squats and
Yeah.
just sumo squats, but nothing with a bar. And yeah, it's just been fun because now I feel that will be a huge help with my leg development because my upper body's good. We just gotta focus on the lower. And yeah, like you said, like we're eating more food for the workout.
Yeah.
And that's the other perk.
Everything's for the training, and I love that. And focusing on your sleep and just
Yep.
reduce now. And stress is still something that we need to reduce so that this way we recover better. It's like it's just like prep, but just in a different way.
Yeah, there's just more of everything in my opinion.
Just more of everything. And it's just, but what I love about it is that you can keep that same focus, tunnel vision mindset and just apply it in a different way.
Mhm.
And I think like that's what really what people that take it far end up doing, because those people that are like, oh man, I'm in off season, oh man, I missed the stage. Apply that same mindset to off season. We shouldn't even call it off season. I like, what's the other word? Improvement season.
Improvement
Like we
season.
call people, oh, it's all one season, right?
Yeah, it's still a lifestyle. It's just more
It's
food.
still a lifestyle, but it's like if some people could just lose that,
Yeah.
that thought process that says, oh, we have to be in a prep to be this focused, to be this tunnel vision. If they were able to let that go and apply that to the whole year, every off season, I mean, the changes would probably be just tremendous.
Right. And like, getting that pro card, I mean, I'm sure we can both relate on this. It's just that, now that we have it, it's like, all right, let me prove that I definitely did deserve it because
Yeah.
you work hard for the card, but there's a different feeling once you get it
Oh, yeah.
and then you're expected to
You're
hit
right.
that pro level. Cause like,
Yeah.
it doesn't even like really, like, I'm still kind of like, I know that I won my pro card and I deserved it. Like I worked for it. But at the same time, I'm like, I'm not really a pro until I step on that stage and actually see where I'm at as a pro.
No, 100%. I share that feeling
Yeah.
completely. I really do. And I was talking to someone else about this too. I was saying that like I felt like winning my pro card, it was like two separate rewards. It was like you won the reward, like the pro card, which was the reward for the work that you put in for that prep and everything leading up to that.
Mhm.
But then the second reward is that now you have this status as a pro, and now you have this new higher expectation and new higher goal that you need to strive for. And now everything you thought was enough is not enough. And now you have to turn everything up a notch. So it's like that new reward is just having that higher goal to strive for. I can't wait. I love that.
Yeah, right. And like we were just talking about Andrea Shaw, and I know like for the pro level, like do you think of like some of these girls and you're like, I have to stand next to that?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's why I'm probably not going to make my pro debut for at least not at least until 2023, maybe not even that soon, just because I need, and not even for the sake of like competing, or just, I do want to like separate that. Me wanting to gain as much size as I do honestly comes like deeply from within myself, because to me, that is such a fun part of this. That is such a big, like, striving for that goal of more muscle, more harder training, heavier training. Like, that is such a satisfying goal within itself. But, and separate from that, yes, for a competitive aspect, I do need more size to really stand my own against these women, which is exciting. So intrinsically, I want that for myself, but also from a competitive aspect, yes, it's going to help me tremendously to be able to stand up against women like that 100%.
And you mentally are already prepared because you know what it takes and you are excited for it in prison season or whatever. Because I feel like the girls that are like, I missed the stage, then they cut their off seasons too short. And like, you know, me and you getting our pro card, it's like, yes, I know I need to put in the work, but I want to, because you know, that thought of cutting off season or whatever too short, you know, it's like you can't just like go full throttle and like pull the brake for a prep. Like if you need more, if you need like a longer off season, don't let your foot like on the brake just yet. Just keep cutting.
Why interrupt that momentum? That's the thing too, is like you keep building this momentum, and if you just cut it short, wow, now you have to start building that momentum again.
Yes.
And it's just, it hurts you more than anything else to just cut things short before you're ready to, before you need to. I mean,
then it ends up like a yo-yo dieting thing.
Yeah, and I think that hurts people more than anything, to be honest, just that constant back and forth, and not only physically but mentally as well. It becomes very damaging.
Oh, for sure. And I know that like we were talking about earlier about having like a lot of food on our plan, then when it gets cut short, I felt like mentally that helped us so much. Like you're not being starved, you're not being deprived. Like it's like I'll be okay.
I'll be okay. I'm still very lucky. This is all and that's something always too. I think a lot of us remind ourselves of too, that like at the end of the day, this is a choice. We're deciding to, like, what a privileged thing. Is there not a more privileged thing in the world to willingly deprive ourselves of food and to achieve an extremely aesthetic look, while also the food that we are eating is the most expensive food you could probably eat, mainly protein. So so what a beautiful privileged thing that we get to do.
I remember
I remind myself that all the time.
Oh yeah, especially in prep. I remember the day before my show. It was like one day out. I am so hungry that it felt like my stomach was eating itself. Okay?
Oh, I know that feeling.
I was literally like, dude, there's like poor children that probably feel like this every day. I'm like,
I know.
So bad. I had to humble myself real fast.
Oh yeah. Anytime I had a moment where I wanted to complain or think anything to myself in my head about how hungry I was like, wow, there are so many people in the world that this feeling is not a choice. And to be forced to feel like that every day has to be so painful and so brutal. And the moment you start thinking about that, you're like, whoa, like you have nothing to complain about. Not a single thing. Like it just kills that immediately.
Yeah, and we're not, like, I always say that we're normal because we diet, like we eat the right foods, but whenever we're like trying to get those abs, like those like really insane shreds that people are like, wow, that's so cool. I'm like, a lot of people will say that's cool, but they are not going to put that work in. That is way
100%.
too much work.
Yeah. No, 100%. And that's actually something interesting, because I felt like there was an interesting dynamic of me prepping for the show. And of course, I work with clients. I'm kind of transitioning to mainly working online with clients, but I do have a lot of in-person clients that I love to work with and that have seen this whole transformation. They've seen me. I mean, I started beginning of the year. I mean, maybe January, it was like close to 200. And I dropped about 60 pounds throughout the course of the year. And for people to see that, and towards the end, you know, you start getting all these comments or, you know, things and that from anybody around seeing you like, oh, I want abs like this, I want treads like that. And I think to myself, and sometimes maybe I explain a little bit too much, a little bit more than is necessary, but I try to ground people in reality that strive for something that is going to be achievable for you. And remember that what you want, you may not really want that, because you may not want the feelings and the work and some of the discomfort that's going to come with obtaining that. So I try to really, I don't know, maybe I'm a joy kill or something like that.
No, it's just the reality.
Reality.
It really is, because I told people, they'll be like, wow, you got abs. And I'm like, yeah, but I traded my ass for this abs, because now I'm like a flat pancake. And I'm like, like, you people got to understand, like, every girl like wants abs but a fat ass. And I'm like, you can't really do both, like, without surgery. So I always laugh about that. So yeah, and you said you're looking forward to 2023, because that's kind of where I'm aiming to, but I'm flexible. I'm like you. I'm like, listen,
if I'm not at the size I want to be, I'm going to wait. I will wait.
Yeah, I think, because you know how it is. People are like, when's the next show? When are you competing next? So it's like, honestly, I'm at the point where I'm like, I have this show in my mind, like Pittsburgh 2023 is my goal, but I'm really flexible. I mean, I'm going to be honest. I'm kind of really wanting to do like a Romania Pro and like travel. That would be
fun. That is fun.
Dude, the international guys, they love like the bodybuilding girls. I'm like, I'll go over there. Dance club.
Yes, girl.
I'm sure you get those cut requests too. They're like, come over here and like compete.
Yup.
Yeah, they're JB and they always.
Oh, I love JB. JB's so nice.
Yes, he's like, come on over here and compete, and like, and it's great, because like that makes me want to, because there's people that support us over there, and it's not like they're just all willy nilly going over there. No, they're like, they
exactly the reason to be there.
Yeah, plus it's international. I wish Japan had.
I was just thinking about that. I was just had that pop into my brain, because we have that connection over Japan. Yeah, I was just thinking, are there any pro shows in Japan?
There are, but I think that they only do men's physique, 212, and I think bikini. They're very limited on their divisions.
I hope that changes in the next few years, because that would be fun. Oh my God.
Someone told me that Korea has a figure pro show, but I haven't been able to find it. I didn't see it, so I'm not sure. And I'm not sure if any other Asian countries have any female bodybuilding divisions.
That would be, I wonder.
I know, I'm hoping the Pittsburgh Pro will add it at some point, because they just added physique. So I'm like, come on.
Yeah, come on. Like, please.
Yeah, because we have Teresa Vancic, and you know, she's a Pittsburgh. I mean, come on.
Oh, yeah.
Let our Pittsburgh girl on the stage. Like, let's get the rest of them, whoever wants to come out.
I mean, it's time. It's been brought back to the Olympia. Let's get it on all the pro shows. Let's go.
Yeah. I think so too, because I know I'm sure shows are very limited right now for female bodybuilding that I know. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's probably like just a handful of shows, not like bikini where it's like 2 pages full.
Yeah, to be honest, I'd have to go. I was looking at the list a while. I mean, there was a few. There was quite a few, but I mean, I'm sure not to the extent as other divisions.
Yeah, so, like I know Chicago.
I know New York Pro.
Yeah, the big shows, but
the big ones.
Yeah, but that's exciting though. I wonder if Toronto Pro has it or not, because I think Toronto. Like, I'm like all about travel.
Toronto did, because I remember I just was watching it. My friend Kat was in that show, so I was like, yes, I was like rooting her on.
I love that. Yeah, it's so cool, and that's what is fun too, because at this point, when you're a pro, we're pretty much gonna have to travel. You know.
Yeah, exciting.
And that's why I told people as an amateur, like, if you can go get some travel experience ahead of time, because if you want to go pro, you're going to be traveling a lot.
I loved on your stories. It was quite a while ago, but you were saying about how people need to become, okay with being on prep and going places and going on trips and traveling. And I was like, yes, please, like, shout that at the top of the rooftops, because the more adaptable you are, the better, because it's a reality that traveling, going places, being flexible while staying adherent and on track is a massive part of this.
and it's getting easier now. Like you can find hotels or an Airbnb with kitchen.
Yeah.
Like this is our
Yeah.
lifestyle.
Yeah.
Like you'll spend the extra money on like a
Yeah.
hotel and then Instacart or grocery shop.
Oh, yeah.
Get there.
Yeah.
Get your
It works.
groceries fresh. Like bring enough food for the airplane because I'll tell you what, it is so easy to travel with food.
It is. It is.
Except for peanut butter. Don't even try to bring peanut butter. But for the most part, it's like go eat, and then like you said, you're driving. If you're driving, then bring food for the drive, and then if not, like I don't know, you get to the point too where when you've been in prep long enough, like we both prepped for a whole year.
Yeah.
You don't care if your food's hot or cold. You're just happy.
I love it cold. Honestly, cold somehow it's just more tastes better to me lately.
Yeah, right? I like cold fish.
I like cold. I just had cold flounder this morning. It was good as hell. It has like a different flavor to it.
How many people are like, I had cold fish for breakfast?
But yeah, no, like I went to Orlando for a conference this year, and it was just so simple. I packed my meals for that day to get there. When I got there, I did Instacart, and I had to stay in one of their Disney hotels, which of course was not great, didn't even have a microwave, but I was like, I just Instacarted. I had a little fridge at least, and Instacarted like things like Greek yogurt, tuna, just easy things that didn't require much preparation, and I made it work.
Right. It's only temporary.
You're fine.
It's just interesting to me that, it's not that hard to eat out. I mean, you just have to find things like you said, like the yogurts and stuff that are easy to carry around or don't need much effort. Because I know, like for me, I love cream of rice, but I do not want to travel with cream of rice because first of all, that stuff I want to enjoy what I eat if possible. Oatmeal, I don't care like if it's like room temperature or microwaved or whatever. So it's like you got to find those things that are just easy to travel with.
Yeah, I think for a lot of people, it's not that it's difficult. I think it's that it's throwing like a monkey wrench into their routine. It's like it's the unknown. It's that like a whole new stressor. And I think a lot of people are focusing on that, overthinking it. I think that's probably what ends up happening for a lot.
Yep. I'm just like, calm down. It's just food. And plus, even if you like had a chicken salad at a restaurant, like it probably won't kill your gains. You're not going to get fat off of a chicken salad. You know what I mean? Like it'll be all right.
Extra broccoli messed my diet up.
Yeah. Right. Like most restaurants are pretty chill about no butter, no oil, just literally just be like, I don't care what I gotta pay. Just give me that naked chicken with naked chicken, naked veggies. Like I just want to eat. I don't know.
I feel you. I love that.
So, well, yeah, congratulations on the pro card. I was literally like screaming and
Thank you so much. I really you are just such like a wonderful ball of support and like positivity. I always appreciate, I always like love seeing what you post and share on your stories too, because I love seeing that positivity. I love that though. You're like an extrovert to the fullest.
Yeah, but it's great because I don't want to say most. There's a lot of bodybuilders, they're just very to themselves, and I understand that. Like we're not all going to be like me.
Absolutely respect that.
So, and I like bringing people like you out and bringing out of your shell and stuff, or just promoting you too. Like I said, like I am so happy that you got on the Female Bodybuilding channel, YouTube. I love that channel.
They are so cool. I love them. AJ, JB, they are two cool people.
They are. I love their energy too. They're just like
I love them.
He's like, ooh, JB. And I'm just, my favorite.
You did the voice so well. Oh my God.
I watch way too much.
Oh my God. You got that. Oh man.
It makes me laugh every time. I'm just like, maybe someday I'll get big and I'll be on the show. I don't know.
Yes. One day. Oh, no doubt in my mind.
And I also have to say, I love the photos you did with Nelson. He is such a good photographer, Sean Nelson. He's great.
Oh, yeah. It's crazy how he could just like get shot after shot after shot, and you're like, wow, these are really good. These are great.
and he's a good talker too. He's a Gemini like me, so he can get very
very
he can get
sociable.
comfortable.
Yeah.
Yes. He'll be like, "You're good at this," and I'm like, "Oh, thank you." I'm like, "You probably tell that to everybody, so they like actually like, thanks."
Extremely skilled.
Mm-hmm. I'm excited. I can't wait. I'll be interested what that feedback is for you, and then
Yes.
hey, it's growing season time, and I'm
Yeah.
seeing more content from you. It's like it's nice.
Yes, I am
You're,
definitely trying to say that. I guess what I am naturally quite introverted person, but I would say I'm very situationally extroverted. So I'm trying to extend that to my social media and just keep putting stuff. I love it. I have so much fun with it.
Mhm.
It's just that it's not my first thought sometimes. So I'm like, oh, we should. Oh, let's do it. Let's do it. So I'm just trying to bring it to my mind and say, come on, keep putting stuff out there. You enjoy doing it. And I'm very grateful that quite a few people really enjoy seeing it. So I'm really happy to keep sharing.
Yes, definitely. Especially when you start actually picking a show in the later years and stuff, because I mean, it's great that you're kind of on the private side, and then building your muscle, because you're going to get all the fans so excited, which is like a great idea, because then you'll see that momentum with your social media. People be like, she's getting ready. Like they'll be so excited to see you.
That's the thing. And that's why I really want to make it a point to share, because I love seeing that, like with you. Like I loved watching your prep. Like I had so much fun seeing that. And I try to remind myself, like, wow, you can share this and bring that fun to other people and share the fun of the journey with other people. So I'm really making an effort to share my off season and share my prep, my next prep, that whenever that's going to be, and also share like all the weird peculiarities of myself and my life.
Yeah. People like that too.
Because I feel like I love when bodybuilders share their personality and when bodybuilders share things outside of bodybuilding. I love that.
Because you can't just be all bodybuilding all the time. Yeah. In a perfect world, like you think that a pro is like that. And it's like, no, like we've got other interests like anime and everything where it's like, you just need a break. Like it's just so routine and Groundhog's Day.
It makes you a better bodybuilder.
It really does.
I really do. I think in anything, if you make that every second of every waking day, and of course, yes, it pretty much is that no matter what, but like if you don't have any other outlet, then like, let's say, for example, you don't have the best training session, all of a sudden your day is destroyed. You need something else so that isn't going to destroy your day. That, oh, okay, I have something else. I'm just going to go express. I have another outlet here. And at the end of the day, I feel like that will make you a better bodybuilder.
Yeah, it becomes a smoother transition into your lifestyle, because for us, like we're not married with kids either, so like for us, like you gotta find those extra things, because it's like, oh, here I am cooking food for myself or whatever. I mean,
I love it.
Watch something or like and then we talked about stress too. Do you know how relaxing it is to just watch an anime, or I saw you were getting into like the cello or something again, and like just take a new skill.
Yeah, music, art, anything. Just have fun with it and have another outlet and put some of that energy, just something to do for the sake of it, that doesn't have to have, this gets you in a flow. This just gets you not thinking about other things, just relaxing.
Are you still training at home too?
No, so I train pretty much exclusively out of the body shop, unless like I'm traveling around going to another gym here or there. But yeah, out of the body shop in Broadheadsville. It is a wonderful place.
That's great. I know you just said you were moving and stuff, so that's great. You're still in the same gym and everything. And because I was like, man, you had that really cool setup with the lights and stuff with your gym.
Oh yeah. Well, some of that may be coming to the body shop, which is exciting. So
sweet stuff.
I have some sweet stuff. Yeah. Some of it's in the work. We'll see. We're gonna see what ends up working out. But I would like to hopefully bring some of it into the body shop and share it with our wonderful members.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, that was like the positive that came out of the lockdown.
Yup.
Yeah. So are you taking on clients for anyone wondering, like for going off season? I know you should probably have some more flexibility there.
Yes, I am absolutely accepting more online clients. So I do exercise programming as well as nutrition coaching with that. So if anyone's interested, I have a link on my page, or also they can go to akumatraining.com and send me
I
an
love it.
email, message me through there, and we will get started or start our consultation process to see if it'll be a good fit.
Yeah, start the new year off with Alexis, and then your Instagram is Alexis dot Helena.
Helena, and then my coaching Instagram is just Akuma Training, and that's AKUMA.
Perfect. All right, girl. Well, let's get training for 2022, and then
Yes.
whatever show comes arise, and
Yes, whenever our shows come,
yeah.
we'll be ready. I'll be watching your prep too. I can't wait.
Thanks so much. So yeah.
It does happen.
All right, sweetheart. Thanks for coming back on. It was so nice to have you, and looking forward to more. So I'll see you again soon.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.